Hey guys, welcome back. We have a weekend energy update to get into. We have a vibe shift going on Friday, you guys. We have made it through the majority of this like hypercharged Uranian energy that has so much characterized our Aquarius season this year, and things I think are going to be chilling out a bit, grounding out a bit as we hit the energy of Friday. We have officially, of course, crossed the midpoint of our Aquarius season as well as of the full moon in Leo that we just had a couple of days ago. And on Friday, Mercury will leave Aquarius, enter the sign of Pisces, kind of like mentally orienting us towards this stronger Piscean energy that's going to be building now and over this next couple of weeks as we head towards Pisces season. So we've got that going on one hand. The moon will be transiting the sign of Virgo Friday and Saturday as well, coming into an opposition with Saturn, coming into an opposition with Neptune and the North Node, coming into a conjunction with the South Node in Virgo. This is another thing that could be like depressing energy levels to some extent. You might honestly find it a bit difficult to get out of bed Friday and Saturday, especially if you need some extra rest. This is a really good weekend to take it. We are kind of, I feel like, playing a bit of catch up in terms of maybe some extreme energetic expenditures or outputs that we were dealing with throughout the course of the week. So there's that. Now moving into Sunday, that's probably the most conflict oriented energy that we have going on this weekend. The moon in Libra is going to be activating the black moon, squaring Mars, opposing Chiron, trining Jupiter. Some people could be airing some emotional grievances, probably a bit triggered, maybe emotionally sensitive, a little bit like hostile or touchy. People could be projecting. I would proceed perhaps with a bit of caution, especially just like around other people. There could be some conflicts in relationships that are also surfacing or going on in the energy of Sunday as well. And generally, you guys, we've got some things to talk about. So let's get into our report of the weekend, take a look at all this, put it all together, see where we're at Friday, how things are looking on Sunday, and what our setup is seeming like as we head towards next week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, February 14th, 2025. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. In this video, we're going to talk about all the astrology we've got going on out there Friday through Sunday this weekend and what things are looking like for us as we head into this next couple of weeks. Also, happy Valentine's Day, you guys. You are all my Valentines. I am so grateful and so appreciative of you all as well. If you're in need of a Valentine out there, I volunteer to be your Valentine for the day. So now that we have that established, happy Love Day, you guys. I certainly do love, value, and appreciate all of you. And we've got some big vibe shifts happening this weekend. Thursday, I mean, all week has just really been characterized by this, actually, kind of like all Aquarius season has been very, very keyed up. You know what I mean? Just maybe like high anxiety, nervous tension, chaos, like one thing after another, like just nothing proceeding as planned, major change, things hitting us out of nowhere. And as we hit the energy of Friday, you may find yourself at a point where you just need to like play catch up with your own energy levels. I think that that's really kind of how things are setting themselves up for us Friday into Saturday this weekend. If you're feeling very drained, exhausted, like you just sort of hit a wall, like the energy level is just kind of like falling off a cliff, that's kind of the nature of a few different things that we've got going on at once. Number one, Mercury will enter Pisces, which is definitely a more chill vibe than the, you know, electrified Aquarius energy that we've had going on this past couple of weeks. And also when Mercury enters the sign of Pisces, and this kind of, again, like cools things down, chills things out a little bit, we are also going to have the moon transiting through Virgo, an earth sign, which really is the first grounding that we've gotten in a while, because even when the moon was transiting through Taurus with Uranus there, this has been like preventing us from really being able to like plant our feet firmly on the ground. But now that we finally have the moon transiting an earth sign, at least Friday, you know, into part of the day on Saturday, the moon will conjoin the south node in Virgo, which is more of this energy that kind of causes us to maybe like want to change or let go of the way that we've been doing things. This can also be a little bit destabilizing is what I'm trying to say. But until we get to that point, the moon's transit through the sign of Virgo is going to be grounding out a lot of this just like hypercharged electrical energy that's been going on, and I think it is going to be dropping energy levels a bit. The moon will also be forming an opposition to Saturn, which brings things down, you know, control, limitation, restraint, and then the moon will transit and come into an opposition with Neptune and the north node in Pisces and the south node in Virgo, which is also like dropping things down energetically. Where we've been like way, you know, like levitating like an inch above the ground, unable to like catch our breath. Now, Friday and Saturday, at least, as I mentioned in my intro, Sunday could be a bit of a just more challenging conflict-oriented energy, but Friday and Saturday at least we should be able to catch our breath a little bit and maybe like just feel like we are at least more strongly rooted to some type of solid surface. However, and I'll talk about this as we get through the report as well, that there is kind of like this contradictory energy, because while this is grounding things out, Mercury in the sign of Pisces, this could also be sort of like distorting our ability to discern like fantasy from reality. As we move through this next couple of weeks, there could definitely be like this sort of dissociative energy where we just aren't exactly sure what's real, and an inability to like find our grounding or find our footing as a result of that as well. So just some things to be aware of, to keep in mind. But this Virgo moon is going to be grounding things out to some extent in the context of, again, like this very amplified like energetic environment that we have just been swimming through, flying through, moving through over this this past several days, this past couple of weeks. So we've been very amped up, but things are going to drop off, I think, on Friday as Mercury enters Pisces. We've got the moon in Virgo, and it's probably going to be palpable. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying. Like, you may find yourself on Friday as you wake up just like not wanting to get out of bed. You could feel very drained, just like, you know, burnt out, exhausted, like you've just been through sort of a whirlwind, and now you are having a stronger desire to kind of like retreat and withdraw and like just kind of maybe isolate. This is more of an introverted energy, I would say, also Friday and Saturday, while we've got this Virgo moon going on and as Mercury enters the sign of Pisces. But whatever extreme output has been going on in terms of where our energy has been going and flowing this entire week, basically, the switch is probably gonna, at least, or maybe it's a dimmer, probably dimming the light or the brightness to some extent as we hit Friday and as we move through the weekend. Now, on Friday, I have mentioned that the moon will also be transiting through the sign of Virgo, and on Friday, the moon will be coming into an opposition to Saturn. Now, whenever we have a moon-Saturn opposition going on, this is always gonna be like more of an emotionally heavy energy, things weighing on us. We could just feel tapped out, like we've been working too long or too hard, overwhelmed by responsibilities, too much going on, you know, things pulling us in too many different directions. And if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you need to take a break, again, that is being sort of cosmically reinforced for us this weekend as well. That is a good thing to do. But this is going to be slowing things down. We have crossed the threshold that was bringing that super strong Aquarian energy, as I already said, and now we're wading more so into this Mercury, Pisces, Saturn, Pisces, Neptune, North Node, and sign of Pisces energy. The sun is soon going to be leaving Aquarius, entering the sign of Pisces as well, and this will slow things down. And while they're not likely to be as like wired and high speed and just like crazy off the wall, we're not out of the strangeness. I do think that while things may be happening at a bit of a slower rate moving forward, they are likely to be just maybe as strange and maybe even more unreal than they had been as we move through this Aquarius season. There is definitely something about things not seeming real and the like space between or contrast between or like dichotomy between fact and fiction, fantasy and reality, truth and illusion is probably going to be quite hard to discern as we move through this period of time as well. It is an excellent time now that we've got Mercury moving into the sign of Pisces for any type of creativity, creative writing, like fantasy, artistic endeavors of all kinds, art, music, beauty, sculpture, dance, performance, like all of that is very supported, very emphasized right now. I've been talking about that as well, especially with this North Node Neptune conjunction that we've had ongoing. This is like a really beautiful time for honestly like creative mastery to be divinely inspired and manifesting in the 3D through various people's like creative inspiration that they are bringing forth right now. But it's also not that logical. It's not that coherent. This emphasizes confusion, lack of clarity, could be kind of a general vibe right now. Again, like not really sure what's real. Like I think I see that, but I'm not sure if I really do or not. Very strange, very like again, like unreal or unexplainable stories or information or narratives or conversations could be going on. People could also be quite critical, honestly, in the energy of Friday and as we are moving into Saturday because of that Moon Saturn opposition. And a Moon in Virgo is also kind of like a critical, nitpicky, more introverted also lunar energy. You may find yourself, especially again like on Friday moving into Saturday, just wanting to be a bit hermit mode, not wanting to, you know, just be out there in all of the ongoing. Sunday is the more social day of the three this weekend, but again, Sunday's also more primed for conflict. So chill vibes, you guys, Friday and Saturday, but very strange, like otherworldly. That's the best way to put it. We have otherworldly energy that we are continuing to move through as we head into Pisces season. Now, aside from the like otherworldly, not really sure if that's real or not energy that we could kind of be caught in now, Friday, and moving through this next couple of weeks, another dynamic of that could also be just this more pessimistic view of things as well. We've got, as I said, Mercury entering Pisces, but Saturn is also in the sign of Pisces right now, which means that from Friday up until the point in time where Mercury conjuncts Saturn and then moves beyond Saturn, it's kind of like side-eye energy, you know what I mean? Just like not the most merry. When we've got Mercury is the mind, it's our thought processes, it's how we're seeing things, our mental state, our perception, of course. Saturn constricts, limits. It's like a lot about boundaries. Mercury and Saturn together, this is a very like compartmentalized way of thinking, but then in the sign of Pisces, that really like breaks things down. So Mercury also is in detriment in the sign of Pisces, doesn't love to be in this energy. So I think that people are probably just not going to be in the most like upbeat, optimistic, like expansive mental place maybe from now and over this next couple of weeks. That's the thing, like while Mercury was transiting Aquarius, while it was this kind of like wild energy, we did have an air sign trine going on with Jupiter, which expands our mind and kind of makes us feel like anything is possible. But now that we've got this Piscean energy coming in and Mercury coming into a conjunction with Saturn and also going to be forming a square to Jupiter in the sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, the glass just may not be looking as full as it did a couple of weeks ago. But remember, this is also happening in the sign of Pisces, and this is important for us to kind of like keep a grasp on as we move through this energy, because things are going to probably appear one way, but Pisces is all about illusions, okay, and the fantasy and the projection, and not necessarily the accurate truth about stuff. And Saturn narrows our focus, right? And it emphasizes errors, and it emphasizes flaws, and it emphasizes like weakness and stuff like that. And therefore, in combination, everything is really probably likely to look or appear or seem or feel worse, more limited, less possible than it actually really truly is, as we do move through this period of time where Mercury is coming to conjoin Saturn in Pisces and square Jupiter in the sign of Gemini. It's like delusional pessimism, okay? Depression, the illusion of failure, like the seeming weight of the burden being more than we can manage, when in reality, we are actually quite capable of doing it. We just don't feel like it right now. And we probably got a million reasons with Mercury why our perspective and stance is valid. But I'm telling you guys, like, the illusion of difficulty is likely to be more real than the actual difficulty itself, if that makes sense. Not to diminish how it feels, because, you know, how things feel is how they are, right? Like, our feelings a lot of times determine what our reality is. So it is, but it also is not, which is very characteristic of the way everything is likely to be and feel for us as we move forward into this period of time. Could also bring like overwhelm in terms of authority, rules, regulations, restrictions, limitations, boundaries, and stuff like that as well. However, as with all energy, there are other octaves that we could see manifesting here as well. This could also be lots of focus and conversation and information having to do with deregulating or dismantling things, like taking things apart, having to do with these Saturnian themes. And I'm saying taking apart because we're in the sign of Pisces, which has to do with washing away and eroding and like dismembering and spreading out and stuff like that, transitioning. So, and of course, Saturn has to do with authority, government, rules, restrictions, these limitations, blockages, beliefs, traditions. So simultaneously over this period of time, we could see some type of, or be involved in, or experience somehow some type of breakdown or dismantling in terms of authority, restrictions, you know, all that Saturnian stuff that I just said. And it could also, on the more spiritual hand of things, because of course, remember, Pisces is also a sign having to do with our connection to a higher power, our connection to spirit, the presence of the invisible within the physical and tangible. This could also be a time about spiritual work or some type of spiritual labor or spiritual authority or higher power that we are focused on or working with or in conjunction with it somehow during this period of time. Spiritual and meditative practices and disciplines are also supported and indicated as productive ways to use this energy, or they could just be coming about more so than normal as we move through this period of time as well. There could be some type of emphasis on spiritual practice or prayer, meditation. You might feel like compelled to be quite disciplined in terms of stuff like that as well. And that would be right in alignment with these vibes. Also, in a more broad sense though, and you know, kind of how I feel like this is going to be heading on a more collective level, it does feel like with Mercury moving into Pisces, coming to the conjunction with Saturn, some type of maybe collective depression or dissociation from reality, as I was mentioning earlier, maybe a literal inability to discern one from the other. Losing trust and authority could also be, that would be right on par with how I would expect this energy to manifest, and losing respect for authority maybe in a way that casts doubts maybe on our belief systems in some way that causes us to really like rethink things or question things, or kind of like lose our grip on reality to some extent, and maybe find ourselves in a state of this more like existential depression about something. I wouldn't be surprised if that's just kind of where we're at, or where a lot of people are at collectively as we move through all this. But again, by the time that we get to the end of this Mercury Pisces transit, there is going to be a Mercury Neptune North Node conjunction. The North Node and Neptune will not be an exact conjunction by then. There'll be a few degree or separation between the two, but Mercury is a pretty fast moving planet, and this should do something to expand our spiritual understanding, our spiritual connection. We may find ourselves just more spiritually oriented, or there could be some type of like spiritual, like personal spiritual revival or something that we experience by the time that we do get through this Mercury Pisces transit towards the end of, you know, February moving into March. And we'll talk about it in real time, you know, as it happens and as we move through this energy. But I just kind of want to give you guys like a glimpse of what's to come and kind of the way that energy is flowing in terms of the Mercury component of things throughout the course of this next couple weeks, because it could be, you know, just like we could just kind of feel like we hit a wall, you know, like things could have been just so much going on, and then all of a sudden we feel like we like can't scrape ourselves off the floor. And if you're feeling like that, that is it. I mean, it's just kind of the vibe right now. This is slowing things down, it is keying things down, and we do need to do what we need to do to like process what's gone on and rebalance our like own energy levels. Okay, so energy starting Friday, kind of preempting this entire period of time that we're going to be moving through. The moon coming into the opposition with Saturn as Mercury enters Pisces, I feel like is just like reinforcing that just energy could be lower over this next couple of weeks. So for like the 5th time, try to take a break if you can. Try not to be too super hard on yourselves. Like, it's a lot. Everything we're going through right now has been a lot. We're all going through this sort of like energetic recalibration, especially as we move through that really strong Uranian energy this past couple weeks. Like, it has been a lot. So as the vibe gets like turned down a little bit and we do start to move through this next couple weeks, just try not to be too hard on yourselves. And this is a period of time again for like life editing. This entire transit of the North Node in the sign of Pisces and the South Node in the sign of Virgo that we have going on for 18 months, which we just started as of like a couple of weeks ago. This is about, on one hand, spiritual growth, and on the other hand, editing our life, our lifestyle, our habits, our routines, like even our diet and nutrition and stuff like that, as a result of this spiritual growth that, you know, we're being compelled towards on the other hand. So it's like, as we grow and upgrade ourselves spiritually throughout this period of time, the inherent consequence of that is going to be some type of lifestyle shifts, changes, edits that need to go on as well. So the more we can kind of like get in alignment with that and like get it going, the more we're going to be supported in our process of making these necessary changes at this point in time. And again, this is a very good weekend for that type of thing as well. Getting rid of things, making changes, alterations, especially to schedules, to habits, to routines. Whenever we have the moon transiting and aspecting the nodes of the moon right now in Pisces and Virgo, specifically that South Node in Virgo though, we have cosmic support to level up our lives, to break ourselves out of old habits, old routines, anything that has been making us like less healthy or less productive. This is the time when we really have an enhanced ability to find new ways to be more efficient, more productive with our time, with our money, with our energy, and with our resources. We are editing our lives, as I've said, with the South Node in Virgo. And it is okay to be critical and nitpicky about what's not working for us right now. Also, like, don't be hard on yourself if you feel like you kind of have like a complaint about everything, or it's like nothing is really good enough. That is what we're supposed to be discerning in this energy. honestly is like, what's not working for us? What is holding us back? What is a waste of our time or our money or our energy or, you know, our whatever it is that we're putting into something? Like, where can we make improvements to streamline the flow of things so that, I mean, Virgo is a sign of the harvest, right? So that like our ultimate harvest, like what we're getting out of what we're putting into things is just better. Okay, so that is the game plan actually of this current nodal transit. North node in Pisces, south node in Virgo. This is helping to level us up in terms of our like material existence, but also as a result, again, of like this spiritual growth that's going on simultaneously. So, you know, if you need to be critical about stuff, like if you find yourself, again, just kind of like, like nothing is doing it for you, it could be because you just need to make some major changes. And again, we don't want to be hard on ourselves or feel like there's something wrong with us if just like nothing is sitting right now. It could be overwhelming though, and this could also be something that's contributing perhaps to some of this like maybe depression or just feeling like it's all a little bit too much this weekend with the Moon Saturn opposition. It could feel unattainable at the moment, but remember, this is the illusion. The illusion is that it's all too overwhelming, or there's too much that needs to be done, or we'll never get there, or we don't have this, that, or the other, or we're too limited, or we're too constrained. Like, that actually is not the truth. It just really feels and appears that way, but this is a gradual process, okay? Like, we don't actually need to do it all at once. We can start small, bit by bit. We're going to get there. Remember, this is an energy that like blurs the lines in terms of our ability to like streamline a plan. So I mean, Mercury and Saturn, this compartmentalizes things, and in the sign of Pisces, I mean, Pisces breaks down compartmentalization and boundaries and stuff, and it's also this like more illusory energy that is not seeing things exactly as they are. So things are probably going to be a bit blurry, and it's as a result of that, it could seem like rather impossible to get from A to B in this type of energy. But it's not impossible. It just seems that way right now. So try not to take it too much to heart. Get rest this weekend. Try not to like over worry. Moon in Virgo opposite Saturn. This can also, again, like this like emotionally burdensome energy. We could just feel, you know, worried or like anxious about something. And Sunday, as we move into the energy of Sunday, again, this could be more of an emotional day. The moon is going to be in Libra by the time we get to Sunday, doing a whole bunch of stuff in the sign of Libra. One of those though is trining Jupiter in Gemini, which can give us some overblown emotional responses to things. Now, Sunday energy, as I said, is probably the most tricky energy that we've got going on this weekend. Relationship conflicts could be an issue. There could be like unrest within like the home, family, or just relationship dynamics generally. Old wounds could be surfacing. People could kind of be triggered and in their feelings, projecting outwards. And there could be perhaps these like big overblown emotional responses to things or displays, or people just like really airing some grievances out there. Let me tell you all the things that the Libra moon is doing for us on Sunday. Now, of course, Libra is a sign ruled by Venus, and right now Venus is in the sign of Aries. So while Venus transits Aries, whenever we've got a Libra or Taurus moon going on, this could bring up relationship conflicts. Venus in Aries can just be prone to more relationship conflicts. Venus in the sign of Mars, of course, Mars being the Lord of War, Lord of the battlefield. Venus in Aries also like doesn't not like to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that can be like part of it, is there's not a huge desire to avoid conflict when we've got Venus in the sign of Aries. So there's that. Now, aside from that, of course, you guys know we also have the black moon, shadow side issues, fears, worries, insecurities, and doubts. Now transiting the sign of Libra as well. Whenever the moon is in the sign where the black moon is, or the sign opposing the black moon, this activates the black moon energy. So we have another day where people could really be kind of triggered by their shadow side issues going on, and also not avoiding a conflict. Okay, so there's two things. Now we also have that moon in Libra forming a square to Mars retrograde in Cancer. That's also bringing up maybe some type of conflicting emotions, or just making us a little bit emotionally touchy. And again, we're not holding ourselves back necessarily from going after somebody. And not only that, that Libra moon will also oppose Chiron. That's pressing on wounds, could be triggering some old wounds coming up from relationships or in the context of the self versus others somehow. And then lastly, as I've already mentioned, the moon in the trine to Jupiter, which is just kind of supersizing it all. Okay, so people could be touchy on Sunday, maybe a little bit looking for a fight. It is triggering maybe some emotional wounds, especially in the context of relationships, other people, and also a lack of balance, lack of reciprocity, like maybe some things that have been unfair, people just wanting to tell you about it. There could be hurt feelings that go on with this as well. And my best advice here, I think, on Sunday, I mean, it really is like, there's not much to say about it other than like, it is what it is. And it's just one of these more like challenging, vulnerable, touchy energies. But having and giving grace, you guys, to yourself, to others. Most people are just going to be doing the best that they can do out there. This is, I mean, the times that we're moving through generally are quite hard to manage. Like, it's kind of hard to hold it together when you feel like your entire paradigm is dissolving underneath your feet. And that's actually what's happening. So people may very much be like feeling that. Maybe they can consciously explain it and are aware of it. Maybe they can't and they don't, and they're just kind of responding to it from an unconscious place. But that's really what's happening. So, you know, acting with grace, self and others, I think that that is beneficial. This is a social energy on Sunday with the Libra moon, you know, all about other people, socializing, being here and there. Trining Jupiter and Gemini could be very busy, people out and about, lots of talking, conversing, you know, conversating, spending money, transactions, doing nice things, also like wining and dining. But there's also kind of like this little energetic twinge or undercurrent that actually at any moment the like tension is pulled so tight with that square going on between the moon and Mars and the opposition to Chiron that something could just snap, people being very easily triggered in that black moon energy, and lots of people talking about it, talking about their feelings with the moon trining Jupiter, projecting their own insecurities and weaknesses as well with the Chiron element and the opposition between the moon and Chiron also. So there we have it, you guys. That's how I feel like things are kind of hitting this weekend. On Friday, we have Mercury at 1 degree of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is a crowded public marketplace. So yeah, I do think people are going to be, you know, a bit of a hustle and bustle this weekend, especially on Sunday. Again, Friday and Saturday may be a bit of a more introverted energy, or we may feel like self-isolating to some extent. But things should, things should be shifting on Sunday. The sun is at 29 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis. This is a process of metamorphosis, you guys. We are outgrowing our old world here, our old, perhaps, cocoon, so to say, as that paradigm that we have been so firmly standing on begins to dissolve under our feet. And, you know, we're kind of just having to respond to the changes going on right now. Reality stranger than fiction again. Just because things are chilling out a little bit doesn't mean I don't think that they're getting any less bizarre. And, you know, again, as we move forward in this period of time, things could just get even more unreal and even more otherworldly. And if you are feeling, you know, this generalized depression maybe, or questioning everything, or this sense of doubt, it is this process that we're moving through right now. This is gonna pass. It's necessary for some reason. It's bringing us somewhere. It's breaking something down within us so that something new can emerge and come together. And it's a point of surrender as well. So transitions, surrender, but also that butterfly emerging from the chrysalis, metamorphosis, transformation. I mean, we're in times of epic change. We've been talking about it. And just because we're out of Aquarius season does not mean that that is going away. So that's what I have to say about the weekend, you guys. Should be interesting times out there. Let me know if you felt the energy shifting. It really does feel like we go from being like way sky high up all the way at the top with that full moon in Leo squaring almost exactly Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and then like turn around and 2 days later Mercury enters Pisces, starts heading towards Saturn, the moon is in Virgo. It should start to feel a bit different. So that's what I'm going to say, you guys. Energy for the weekend. I'm going to get us a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe, what's one additional piece of guidance or information that we should keep in mind as we move through the weekend? And look at this, you guys. Our card for the weekend says trust. And I think that that is exactly what we should be doing. Okay. Trust also in Him, Psalm 37:5. Trust in God to lead you to the person you need to fulfill your needs. Make certain you are the type of person that person would wish to associate with. Make certain you have defined your needs and desires before you make your request. Remember, all things are possible through God. So we are not losing hope, you guys. We're not losing faith. We're not losing trust, even though we may just be hitting this dip. Everything is in peaks and valleys. I tell my kids this all the time. Like, if things are going up, they'll go up, but there's going to be a point in time where we're going to go back down. It's just the natural rhythm of flow of things. And so, you know, as things have been just so keyed up over this past couple of weeks, now we are likely to probably go through maybe a little bit of a depression. But that doesn't mean that we just like that all is lost and we'll never get back there and, you know, everything is a failure and everything. No. We're going to trust the process. This is just a time to chill out a little bit, you guys, you know, pull it back, maybe rest, get our own lives together, make personal improvements, personal changes. What does this say? Make certain you are the type of person that the person that, you know, you would wish to associate with like needs in their lives. So we are self-editing, you guys, as we move through this period of time and trusting the plan and process as it plays out. That's what I have to say for the weekend, you guys. Happy Valentine's Day again to all of you out there. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they too would enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments, you guys. I am so grateful for your presence here. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I have a link in my description box where I post images of these boards in a Facebook group. So that's where you can find that. And come back with me, you guys, on Monday. We have a new week of astrology that we're getting into. I'll tell you, we are starting off the week in some strong black moon energy. So we have that. I will be back to talk about it. You don't want to miss it. I will see you next time, guys. Have a beautiful weekend. And until then, bye.
Yeah.
Hi, you.